We are presenting about the business and corporation law, and the presentation is about, and the case we are going through is today is the Australian Securities and Investment Commissions versus the CASMETIS. Okay, and to start with the introductions of the case, I will invite Sangeeta to go forward and tell about what the case is all about and what the things of the breach were done by the companies or by the staff. Okay, Sangeeta, please.
Thank you, Nishi. I'm going to do the introduction part. Initially, what happened was Emmanuel and Julie, they were the husband and wife. They together started a company named called Strong Financial Limited. Initially, they were the managing director of the company and also as well as the stakeholders of the company. Later on, what happened was Australian Securities and Investment Commission filed a case against the CASMETIS, allegedly a breach in their responsibility of taking cares and attentives under the Act of Corporation 2001. Now I'd like to call my friend Mirza to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Good morning, everyone. So this is the part I'm going to cover, responsibilities breached by Storm. This is the first thing which, was breached out. So I'm going to start with the basics. So it's happened. The primary breach by the company is the violation of a section 945A of the Act of Corporation 2001. So the rule is the company can only provide financial advice. So you have to be careful about the rules. So these are the rules which are not set by us. It's all set by the government. So after having a proper financial investigation, if the client possesses favorable financial condition, the company is free to give advice. Otherwise not. So but in this case, the Storm, they didn't tell everything about they didn't tell the proper guideline, the proper information to the client. So that's why the client suffered. And furthermore, I'm going to tell you about the company also violates the other thing which they violated, the law of section 104(1) of the Australian Corporation Act 2001. In one word, company ensured the client financial security while providing advices. Unfortunately, Storm was found not to do any of the commitments they made during the advising session. Thus, the company falls under deception and fraud. So this is what actually happened. And furthermore, what are the reason of the breach? I'm gonna call Seshna, so she's gonna explain you further. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mirza. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to explain about the reason why they breached the company rules. It says that the company can provide advice to the third party only if the company can extract information by proper investigation regarding the relevant personal scenario. The Storm company, they always want to just make a profit, and they just didn't care for their personal, the clients, what they background from, what they have got or not. They just go through it, and that's why they got later on they got a problem. And the other one is the companies should only provide advice if they feel it to be appropriate by going through proper investigation of clients' financial and other circumstances. As like everyone know that we should know the background, what they have got assets or not, what they have got a property, like in the future if they are in a trouble that they can afford or not, but they didn't care about that. And the next thing, the directors of the company, the CASMETIS misuse their power and violates their duty of take care of their clients under the Act of Corporation 2001. They didn't care about what's their responsibilities, they just go through it, and then after they didn't they didn't even think they're responsible what they're supposed to do. In fact, they didn't even bother to conduct a good and proper investigation of the personal and financial circumstances of the client. Now I'm going to call my friend Simran.
Thank you, Seshna. I'm going to talk about the analysis of court decision. The main concern is to find out whether the debtors try to balance two forces and that it's a factor against the forceful opportunities to making profits or not. In this case, Mr. and Mrs. Cassavetes, one they are settled the company, looking after the clients, fulfilling the needs of clients' doubt. If before investing there are funds anywhere, they should be given the proper guidance. And on the other hand, the Cassavetes defend themselves by pointing at section. And it is not all doubt should think correct. Maybe something is wrong in this point. And the above study shows.
Now for the conclusion, I'm gonna like to call Nishant, so he will gonna explain you about the conclusion, what's happened at the end.
Basically, the research and justification of court decisions. Like, as far as we have studied, like, we have known, like, what the Cassavetes and the Strom Limited did. Like, they didn't provide any kind of a further correct details, and they didn't look any of kind of like what the background of the client and the customer should be, and they just want to get for the profit margin. So the Cassavetes both directors and shareholders of the company. So as we have seen, like, the Cassavetes only were like both the shareholders and the the directors of the company. So they thought that they were the only power of the company, and they can rule they can work any way which they can. Hence, it is very rational to think that they would know all the whereabouts of the company. So as far as they were only the directors of the company and they were only the shareholders or the stakeholders of the company, they thought they will only work like they want to have, and they didn't thought any.
What are the reason of the breach? I'm gonna call Seshna, so she's gonna explain you further. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mirza. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to explain about the reason why they breached the company rules. It says that the company can provide advice to the third party only if the company can extract information by proper investigation regarding the relevant personal scenario. The Strom company, they always want to just make a profit, and they just didn't care for their personal, the clients, what they background from, what they have got or not. They just go through it, and that's why they got later on they got a problem. And the other one is the companies should only provide advice if they feel it to be appropriate by going through proper investigation of clients' financial and other circumstances. As like everyone know that we should know the background, what they have got assets or not, what they have got a property, like in the future if they are in a trouble that they can afford or not, but they didn't care about that. And the next thing, the directors of the company, the Cassavetes misuse their power and violates their duty of take care of their clients under the Act of Corporation 2001. They didn't care about what their responsibilities, they just go through it, and then after they didn't they didn't even think they're responsible what they're supposed to do. In fact, they didn't even bother to conduct good and proper investigation of the personal and financial circumstances of the client. Now I'm going to call my friend Simran.
Thank you, Seshna. I'm going to talk about the analysis of court decision. The main concern is to find out whether the debtors try to balance two forces and the risks of factor against the forceful opportunities to making profits or not. In this case, Mr. and Mrs. Cassavetes, one they are settled the company, looking after the clients, fulfilling the needs of clients' doubt. If before investing there are funds anywhere, they should be given the proper guidance. And on the other hand, the Cassavetes defend themselves by pointing at section. And it is not all doubt should think correct. Maybe something is wrong in this point. And the above study shows.
Now for the conclusion, I'm gonna like to call Nishant, so he will gonna explain you about the conclusion, what's happened at the end.
Basically, the research and justification of court decisions. Like, as far as we have studied, like, we have known, like, what the Cassavetes and the Strom Limited did. Like, they didn't provide any kind of a further correct details, and they didn't look any of kind of like what the background of the client and the customer should be, and they just want to get for the profit margin. So the Cassavetes both directors and shareholders of the company. So as we have seen, like, the Cassavetes only were like both the shareholders and the directors of the company. So they they thought that they were the only power of the company and they can rule they can work any way which they can. Hence, it is very rational to think that they would know all the whereabouts of the company. So, as far as they were only the directors of the company and they were only the shareholders or the stakeholders of the company, they thought they will only work like they want to have, and they didn't thought anything else about the company, like where the company is going, what is the company future, what the reputation of the company. They just thought about only one thing, the profit and the money, nothing else. However, without initiating any measures to prevent those risks. So, as far as if I am the director or I am the owner of a company, I would think about many other areas, not only the money. Because if I am investing a bundle of money in something, then I would think about future as well. Like how far will be my company after 10 years or after 20 years. I will not think about short-term goal if after investing so much thing in a company. But the Casmides didn't think about the long-term goal or like the future. They thought about only about money, and they ended up really bad after doing this. Conclusion. So, as far as concluding this part is really easy, because as far as we know that the Australian Constitution is really strict about the laws and the rules which have been followed by the Australian people. But the Casmides breached the Australian Commission law by not following many of the laws, but the main were like we have seen 954A, 104(1) by A, 180 by A, that the Casmides were like appealing against that. So the above study shows that in order to consider only the profit margin, the directors of the company fails to keep the promises and commitments made to ensure the client's financial securities, who are the most vulnerable to the financial loss that might occur. So, like the company didn't give a proper kind of guidance or proper information to the clients which they should have given. But on the other side, like if they were focusing only on the profit and they didn't thought any kind of the clients or the customers loss or like frauds or any kind of a return which the customer will get or will not get. So they were only focusing only the money factor, not anything else. They didn't even evaluate any actions to prevent this issue, hence the allegations made against them proved to be true. So, as far as Australian government or Australian constitution is concerned, if you are running a company, then you have to think about your customers first, then about yourself. But over here, the Strom and the Casmides, they didn't think anything about the customer nor about the client. They just thought about their self and only the money factor which they were looking after. And all these things happen only for the money factor the Casmides were thinking about. And the allegations made by the Australian securities were true and they were penalized. That's all for us from my side and from my group. And this is what the Casmides taught us. Like, don't go for the money factor behind. Think about the company, think about your customers and clients, and they will revert you in a really good manner for the future. Thank you.